Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me right now, and we'll get started. Kind of dark there, Gary, but I think we'll hear us. Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, we're going to get started. Gary, should I read the notice first and then go on to the agenda?
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
We'll start with the notice. Notice to hold teleconference meetings pursuant to Minnesota Statutes 13D-.021 due to current federal and state emergency declarations and guidance about limiting person-to-person contact due to the COVID pandemic. By action of the school board of the Pelican Rapids School District, all future meetings of the Pelican Rapids School Board will be conducted in accordance with Minnesota Statutes 13D-.021. Meetings by telephone or other electronic means until further notice. One or more board members may participate by telephone or other electronic means. In accordance with Minnesota Statutes 13D-.021, members of the public are not permitted to attend this meeting due to the current health pandemic. Persons may monitor this meeting from a remote location via Zoom. The link to this meeting will be posted on our district website. Public comments for school board meetings during opportunity for visitors to speak may be submitted as follows. That's Barbara B-R-I-P-L-E-Y PelicanRapids.k12.mn.us. And now we will go on to let's call the meeting to order. And we have everybody in attendance except for Mike. So Mike is not here at the moment. So we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And we'll begin the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Morning, everybody. Morning. First item up will be approve the meeting agenda. Motion. So moved. It's a special meeting, so we really can't add or subtract anything, Mr. Ness, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So we have a motion by Greg. Do we have a second? Second by Ann. I don't have a pen with me, so make sure somebody's taking notes. I think probably taking notes. Okay. Any discussion on the agenda? We have a motion by Greg and a second by Ann. Hearing no discussion on the agenda, all those in favor signify by saying aye, and I'll do a roll call. Greg? Aye. Aye. Ann?
Aye.
Brittany?
Aye.
Brenda?
Aye.
Agenda carries. Opportunity for visitors to address the board. And, Barb has any way more finance.
Participant and ask a question.
Or Barb, if you can hear us, just text one of us and if there are anybody to address the board. She said none. None? Okay, we can move on. Okay, next item up, item 5, consent items. Personnel, hire social studies teacher, hire social studies teacher, hire Monica Thompson as technology director and integrationist, and approve the resignation of Jodine Fitzgerald Roberts as Spanish teacher. And item B is approve the transportation contract with Washington Bus Service Incorporated 2020-2021. And since they're A and B, should we separate them or do we want to combine them as one consent item motion?
You know, I think we can keep them all in the consent agenda, but I think we have a lot of backfilling of information for you if you'd like the admin team to speak now.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I'll do an overview and then I'm going to call on Mr. Korf and Mr. Martinez to fill in some more. So the first item, we do have a social studies teachers to hire that will replace Mr. Bergman, and I'll have Mr. Korf fill in details on him in a second. The second one, we are recommending that we hold off. We don't have a signed contract yet. We're working with a candidate that has that will have license, but we just want to make sure. So we want to work with the Pelsby board. And that's also part of our technology team that we want to flesh out more for you. We're also recommending that we don't take action on hiring Monica Thompson. After much discussion, she is determined that it's best in her best interest to stay with the service cooperative. So we've had to rethink the last 72 hours since this agenda came out. There's a little bit of change going on here. So what we need to do is get together as an admin team. I know Mr. Korf has already met with some people, and July 6th in the afternoon prior to our work session, we're meeting with the service cooperative to really develop our plan and further go through. I don't anticipate that we'll have it ready, a contract ready on July 6th for you to review, but we will have an update for you and look for a July 20th at our regular board meeting. We will have a plan in place by then for sure. And then approve the resignation of the Spanish teachers. So that is A. So let's just start there. Mr. Korf, would you fill in about Mr. Johnson, the new recommended hire there?
Yep. Andy Johnson, former Pelican grad, graduated from Concordia College, and has been teaching 5 years at USC, United South Central, Southern Minnesota. So.
Okay. And then we go on to, could you also comment on our Spanish teacher?
Yep, our Spanish teacher was part-time, 0.5. She accepted a position in another school district, a full-time Spanish position. So she's been here 1 year. So we've had I think 3 Spanish teachers in the last 3 years.
So with that, this is not part of the motion, but a point of information for posting. We were meeting as an admin team in a long work session the other day, and we just believe that we can rework our achievement and integration budget. So we would have a 0.5 Spanish teacher and then add additional duties and rework the budget with achievement and integration to make it a 1.0 position. It's very difficult to find a part-time person and to keep them, as Mr. Korf said. So at this time, is there questions regarding that? And Rudy, could you fill in a little bit on how we'd rework the achievement and integration budget to make this a 1.0 FTE?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be more than happy to. Regarding cost today, so the 0.5 FTE that currently just resigned gave us a total cost to the district of close to $32,000. Part of that salary was intended, or a part of the achievement integration budget, $13,000 was allocated to cover part of our FTE, essentially only giving us a $18,000 expense to the general fund. What we are looking into is going into the plan, amending a few things and shifting it to the new Spanish teacher. Essentially what would happen is a point FTE, and we're hoping to get somebody with very low experience. It's the thought process here. Total package for a brand new teacher at a 1 point FTE would be $57,000. We would rewrite the achievement and integration budget essentially to shift that portion that was already allocated for the Spanish teacher of $13,000, in addition to giving them a new duty, which would either be them to teach a class that Dr. Richardson and I have been working on, which is either intro to education, or shift the family liaison portion to it, covering close to $33,000 off that salary. So what will end up happening is at the end of the day, hiring once we rewrite the achievement integration budget, only $5,700 would be the cost to the general fund. And even then, at that point in time, we can still allocate some of the gear money for that position. So we have the means to hire a 0.1 FTE Spanish teacher, really with zero to very little impact to the general fund. On a bigger scope of things, so far from restructuring the administrative team, which we're calling it, and we'll show you guys this plan, which we're calling it phases in terms of cost containments. The first phase for the restructure of the administrative team is projected to give us a net savings of $89,000. Phase 2, which was the buyouts and retirements of the teachers, netted us $46,000, projected $46,000 in savings. So on the first 2 phases alone, we've had over $136,000 in savings. So this is a time where we say, okay, you know what, $1,700 versus the $136,000 that we've saved. I think this is a good investment for our kids. That's what we have for you guys so far. Is one, we know we can afford the 0.1 FTE, and it'll be easier for us in the sense that it's very hard to hire a part-time, and we have the opportunity to open up the market, and we already have substantial interest from candidates who would be willing to take the role.
And that would be a 1.0. 0.1 would be really difficult to fill, I think. So it's a 1.0, just a minor correction there.
Yep, thank you.
And so really with the personnel, just in summary, we're recommending that we hire Andy Johnson for that to replace Doug Bergerman. We're recommending make a hold on the second position, but we believe we do have a candidate that we're working with that would be excellent. And so that will be forthcoming. We're working on a technology plan that will be forthcoming either July 6th or July 20th, and then approving the resignation of Gerald Roberts as a Spanish teacher. That's the personnel. The other part of posting 1.0 was more of a point of information that we'll post for that, knowing that the board has to approve that position in the future here, either July 6th or July 20th. B in the consent agenda item is the Christensen bus service contract, and I would just say from my point of view, just getting to know them and working with, they're a pleasure to work with, very flexible, very understanding. I think what both sides agreed on is we're in the unknown, so this contract reflects that. So there's a 3% increase in the bus service contract over last year. But there's also flexibility that if we are not in school, so we're doing distance learning, the price, the cost to the district is reduced dramatically per month. And then there's also a provision that, say for example, in February, the governor just says, we're not going to be in school for the rest of the deal. There's also provision that we would get back together and we would look at further cost containment for the district and also for the bus company. So I was pleased with that, and I'll turn over to Rudy to talk some more dollars here for you.
Yeah, just kind of adding more to what Mr. Christensen said. The bus contract does reflect a 3% increase from the monthly service charge, which we pay 9 months out of the year while school is in session. Last year was $59,100, and now it's going to be $60,873. We think that is very fair for how flexible and really for what's out there in the market, being that they're our only provider. We think it's a good service. One additional thing that they added into the contract is that any new additional in-town meal delivery routes will cost us $120. Again, that's pretty fair. It's pretty minimal for the most part. They were extremely flexible with us in the spring, and I think that's fair for us to entertain that one. And again, in terms of the dollars, we agreed that at any point in time, if it's a traditional or a hybrid or blended model, the fee would be $60,873 per month. At any point in time, if distant learning is implemented, then that fee would drop down to $38,000. At any point in time, if we execute more than one learning model in a month period, so say for example, in the month of December, we start with all kids in school, and then all of a sudden in the middle of the month, distance learning comes into play. Essentially what we're going to do is we're going to be looking at a prorated rate. So we'll pay the days that the kids were in school for the regular time, and then pay the second half at the distance learning rate. And again, if, like Mr. Ness was saying, if at any point in time we have more than 2 consecutive months of distance learning, that we come together and then we figure out, okay, what are we doing to make sure that you guys are reducing any operating expenses, and we'll be working with them on that. So that's what we have. We think it's a very fair contract, extremely flexible and very adaptable to help us in any situation that we might potentially be next year.
So I think that's our update. So I think what we should do now, John, is we should have a motion and a second and for the consent items, and then have further discussion. Board members can ask any questions and update. We can do further updates, but I think that would be appropriate right now.
Like to break those 2 items apart. I'm going to have to abstain from voting on item B.
Mike is supposed to be here any second, but we don't see him here yet.
I move to approve consent item subdivision A with regard to hiring social studies teacher Tony Johnson, and with regard to approving the resignation of Jodine Fitzgerald Roberts as Spanish teacher. And as far as the other social studies teacher position and Monica Thompson's position as technology director integrationist, I, within this motion, indicate that the board proceed as previously discussed by the administration team and other council members, board members.
Yeah, so it's essentially approving one hire and one resignation. I'll second that. Oh, Mike. All right, any discussion on the consent items as we've discussed on subdivision A with the hire and the resignation? See anybody? So hearing no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. It'll be a roll call. Greg?
Aye.
Aye. Mike?
Aye.
Brittany? Brittany?
Aye.
Ann?
Aye.
Brenda?
Aye.
Motion carries. The next item up on the consent is, I'll make this motion, will be, it's in the subdivision B, approve the transportation contract with Christensen Bus Service for 2020, 2021.
Second.
I made the motion, Greg made a second. Any discussion on the transportation contract?
I just want to make a note that I was part of that transportation committee, and I agree with Rudy and Superintendent Ness that it's been a pleasure working with Mr. Poach, Mr. Gressrud, Mr. Rested, and I appreciate the flexibility that they've afforded the district, specifically in Article 2, Section 1, that highlights the compensation and costs associated with
the unknown environment moving forward in terms of the hybrid approach, the full-blown every day at school approach versus the distance learning approach. So I'm in full support of the contract as presented.
Any other discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. I'll do a roll call again. Aye. Greg?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Brittany?
Aye.
Ann?
I abstain.
Brenda?
Aye.
Motion carries. Transportation contracts approved. Next item up will be upcoming meetings. July 6th, we have a work session at 6 p.m. July 20th, regular meeting, 6 p.m. August 3rd, work session, 6 p.m. And August 17th, regular meeting at 6 p.m.
John, just to talk a little bit about the work session, we may have a special meeting prior to the work session, again, similar to this one, because we may need to hire that other social studies teacher, and then also possibly Spanish teacher. We're hoping to do a short turnaround on that. So it'd be a very brief special meeting to make that done, to get that done. And then at the work session, our admin meeting the other day, we did talk about goals. We really want to flesh out the goals for the board so we can move forward as to get building goals and individual teacher goals moving forward. We are going to look at staffing. We're going to do in-depth on the technology and what we're thinking about how to put that technology team together. We have discussion on just the school year, sort of scripting the school year to give you an overview of things coming into place, especially looking at the three phases or the three options that we might be at any time asked to jump between, if you will. So kids in the buildings and a hybrid, and then also a distance learning. We're also from Mr. Larson, Greg put in discussion of the 4-day versus 5-day week. And what I would recommend is any board member that wants anything else to the agenda, please let John know or me know, Mr. Brian know, just any of us so we can get that on the agenda. So work session, plan on being there a little while. It's going to be 2-3 hours, I would say, to really get everything completed. And then our August 3rd agenda will really concentrate on the phased opening, because Mr. Korf has got teams of people that are working on distance learning and the hybrid model, and then also bricks and mortar, all the different pieces there. So we'll really focus on the start of the school year at the August 3rd meeting. That's all I have, I guess.
Thanks. Anyone else informal before we adjourn? Hear anything? Entertain a motion to adjourn. So motion by Greg. You have a second?
Second.
Who is that?
Yeah.
Ann made a second. Okay, all right. Any discussion on adjourning? Hearing no discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye to adjourn. Aye. This will be a roll call. Greg? Aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Brenda?
Aye.
Ann?
Aye.
Tiffany?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend.